Alright, we up and running? Alright, cool. So this is the recording of me going through the May 2025 PoA Paper 1 for inclusion in the playlist that I usually give out for Paper 3 people, right? Now, I will have some people on the chat, both on TikTok and YouTube on this side. Alright? Hey, what vibes? Skeleton, yeah boy. It come on quick this year. Well, I do have like a whole set of time, so it's not a speed run, but it's also not a casual walkthrough. All right, so let me just wait. Did I finish? Paper was easy. Hey Cheryl, good night. How you doing? Sorry, off screen. My bad. Yeah. Sorry. All right, cool. So folks, hold on. And of course, well, one of us is not messing with the help of homework. Sure. Send me a pic currently. Oh my gosh, right. My typing is horrendous, right? I'm currently working on something for at least 1 hour, but will help after that. Alright. Awesome people. Okay. Pass. Hope we get hurry up. Unit noise, this CSEC PoA. Alright, yeah guys, so let's take a start, right? So what we'll do is we'll do it in order as opposed to the visual. Okay, and I'll try to go as quickly as possible because I have some stuff I had to do, but yeah. So which of the following types of businesses is formed by two or more persons who are liable for the debts of the business as well as a partnership? Nice, easy one to start you off with. Right, in a statement of financial position, expenses owing are listed as current liabilities, that is option B in this case here. Let me take a quick look. Right. Oh, okay, some depreciation stuff, right. You're nervous? You have to be nervous. Alright. Maharaj inadvertently bought 2 cases of expired mushrooms from B&B supermarket. He returned the items. In Maharaj's book, this transaction was recorded as a journal entry for purchases returns. Somebody found out. Making some noise, boy. Boy, what vibes? Yeah, hell, boy. In which the following ledgers are the most nominal accounts found as a general ledger. Alright. Sorry. 5. To which of the following categories of cooperatives does a credit union belong? Financial cooperative. Alright, cool. There. Guys, if you ask a question and I don't see right away, do feel out. Partnership has a maximum. Normally they tell you between 2 and 20 or 2 and 50, but it depends on the country you're in and the legislation. Some countries allow more, some countries allow less. Which of the following actions should a company take if it is likely to incur bad debts? Provide for such losses. Sorry. Which of the following lists contains asset accounts only? Well, we saw this in almost every paper we did. Cash inventory, furniture, motor vehicles, that is option C. Nice. Which of the following formulae represents the correct accounting equation for calculating the value of assets? Assets equal to capital plus liabilities or liabilities plus capital. TJ, yeah, no problem. Happy to help. That's okay, Naya. Don't frighten. We'll do the thing. Right, which of the following features is associated with private limited companies? Shares are not sold publicly. Alright, they took out the family thing. Interesting. Alright, so that was page 1. Alright, of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Right, sorry, I saw a customer asking that. Alright, yeah. I'll try and actually not to feel any questions tonight. I'm trying to just zip through it. Which of the following items is a capital expenditure? Machinery. Right, capital expenditure is the purchase of any non-current asset or any expenditure to significantly improve the value of a non-current asset. For example, buying a motor vehicle, and if you bought it, let's say changing the engine or overhauling the transmission, significant expenditure, right? Cool. Not like paying for gas or basic repairs, that kind of stuff. Which of the following assets would be considered the most permanent premises? Okay, next. The purpose of an electronic clock card is to record employees' attendance. Partnerships are formed for the purpose of this, all three, right? Combining capital from different persons. Yes. Benefiting from different skills and specializations. Yes. Sharing ideas, experiences, and responsibilities. Yes. So all 3. Alright, cool. Control accounts are kept in order to assist management in locating errors. To which of the following accounts would depreciation of office machines be transferred? Profit and loss. We should already say income statement, but okay. A company declares a dividend of 15%. What is the value of the dividend warrant to be sent to the shareholder who owns 1,500 $1 ordinary shares? Right. So we said, long story short, you're finding 15% of the total par value of the ordinary shares in issue. So 1,500 by $1. Right? So 15% of 1,500 is 225. That was option B. On 1st March 2025, Mr. Arthur purchased $600 worth of inventory for resale. He received a 3% trade discount. The invoice also stated 2% in 20 days, net 30 days. Mr. Arthur settled the amount on 15th of March 2025. Okay, so what was the overall amount Mr. Arthur paid for the inventory? Okay, so first things first, we have to deduct the trade discount, right? So trade discount is deducted at the point of purchase or sale. Right, so it's 3%. Now 3% of that is $18. That means you're gonna pay, you have to remit $582. But then he paid on the 15th, which is 14 days after, which is in the discount window. So now you have to minus the next 2% of the 582. So 2% is 150. So divide by 100, multiply by 2. Yeah, so you'll divide by 100, multiply by 2. 10, 11, 64. Right, and then minus 11, 64. Just 570.36. There you go. So that's option B. Right, okay, cool. So that was second page. Alright, cool. Going again. Alright, sorry. Just taking a browse a little comments here. Do I have the paper 3? I think I did get it. Yes, Israel. Email me if you want it. Yeah, the whole page, right? Nice, nice. Dante, good. 57, Dex, yeah, good job. 28th of August 2008, food. That's a big date, by the way. Close to 9 million. Anyhow, Mr. Abel and Mrs. Blue purchased inventory from Mr. Kane on credit. The inventory is about 50 and 75. Another customer paid cash for inventory amounting to $550. Mr. Kane took inventory at cost for himself amounting to $500. Which of the following figures represents the total in Mr. Kane's sales account? Well, we're just going to add 50, 75, and 550. That's 125 and 550 is 675. Alright. Alright. Cool. Looking good so far. Lovely. Bank account. What is the closing balance of the bank account? Okay, so 20,000 plus 2,000 on the debit side will literally give us 22,000. And to get 22,000 on this side as well, we need to subtract, and we get 7,000 as the closing balance. Alright. Kayla, it'll be up for a little while. Rent expense, which is still owing at the end of the period, must be debited in the profit and loss account and shown in the statement of financial position as a liability. Which accounting concept does this represent? Accrual. Right, okay, so we're about 1/3 on the way through paper. I don't see any past question on paper 1. Okay, cool. Don't need accounts. Going concern. Yeah, that's what it was. What are you gonna do? Right? This is why it's not a good idea to look at the solutions right after the exam. So I just kind of torturing some all here because all they asked for it. So I say, okay, if that's all they want. Right, item 21 refers to the following. Okay, what is the total value of the assets? What do the assets say? Motor vehicles, receivables, and building. 2 and 10 is 14. Pain right now, although you don't have to go through the pain. Alright, which of the following arrangement shows the current assets in order of liquidity? So liquidity starts with cash in hand, then bank, then receivables, so option A. When a proprietor withdraws cash or other assets from a business, what effect does this have on the business's drawings or capital? It increases drawings and decreases capital, so that's option B. Oh, that page done already. Wow, look at that. Cool. Alright, next page. Tomorrow things to do. Oh, you are Mario? Hey, how you doing, Mario? Alright. Guess the accrual. 13 credit. Alright, lovely. Yeah. Like I say, guys, I'm not trying to watch too much of the comments and respond. Actually, just trying to browse it real quick because I have things to do. But I know some of y'all wanted this. Alright, bought inventory for 500 on credit. In which book of prime entry? Okay, so that's the credit purchases or the purchases journal. Right, cool. In an effort to raise capital, the company offered 200 5% debentures at 100,000 each for subscriptions. 5% is an indication the company will pay 5% in interest to the debenture holders. Right? 5% is the interest rate. The working capital of A. Young and Sons is 15,005. The value of current assets is 16,500. What is the value of current liabilities? Current, sorry, hold on, give me a sec, sorry, it's doing that these days. Right, so current assets minus current liabilities is equal to working capital, alright? So current assets is 16,500, working capital is 15,500. So guess how much you have to subtract from 16,500 to get 15,500? 1,000, right? 27. When a net loss is incurred, how does this impact the capital of the sole proprietorship? It decreases the capital, which is owner's equity. So you see they bring in the term equity and owner's equity for you all, eh? So yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, Dante, right. No, what, Becca? You're mashing up. Bad in the kill. Alright. What is the inventory at the end of January? Okay, cool. So cost of goods sold is the opening stock plus the purchases minus the closing stock, and that's cost of goods sold. So 1 Jan 2024, so you have 1,500 plus 1,200 minus, we don't know how much, and that's equal to 1,400. 15 and 12 is 2,700, and to get 1,400 after subtracting, you would need to have subtracted 1,300. The paper from today, one pretty Bobby. Right. 5.5 go. Right. Information for the records of LT Limited. Gross profit under 5. Okay, so gross profit is sales minus cost of goods sold. As we just saw, cost of goods sold is opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. In the question down here, there's no opening stock. There's only closing stock. Right? So under 5.4, it will be purchases minus that. Right? So 10 minus 5. So hold on. Sales minus cost of goods sold. Right? The sales is 45,000. Right? The cost of goods sold is the purchases figure minus the closing stock. So 10,000 minus 5,000 is 5,000, and 45 minus 5 is 40. Cool. And then under AFCO, so under AFCO the work will be the same, we're just swapping out that 5,000 for the 3,000, right? So the cost of goods sold would instead be 10,000 minus 3,000, which is 7,000, right? And your gross profit would be 45,000 minus that same 7,000, which will give us 38,000. Alright, we're halfway through the paper. How y'all feeling? It ain't looking too good. Didn't watch past papers. Got these wrong. How do I even work? Nixie. Anything? Yeah, Britannia. Big up Kylan, yes? Right. It's morning. Repeat. Your last question. Oh, nice. Nicholas, Geneva. Hey, Geneva, how you doing? Life with Nia. Anxiety. It's killing me. Anyway, sorry. I can't listen to that one. But it's a big tune. Alright, cool. Alright guys, let's finish off. So yeah, so far only took about 15 minutes per so far, so let's see if we can round off the rest of the paper and get on with life, yeah? Alright, cool. As the man said, nice cities in Donkey City. Item 31 refers to following information. Okay. Unpresented checks, bank lodgements, and balance as per cash book. What is the balance as per bank statement? Okay. So if you're doing a bank rec starting with the balance as per cash book, you have to add back your unpresented checks and minus your bank lodgements. So that will give us 530. Right? Now again, if you get wrong, tell them we could do, you don't have any more PoA to do, so just let it and go. Alright? Rose contributed 7,000 in cash and the motor vehicle with 3,000. Okay, we saw Rose, right? Rose's contribution. So cash and motor vehicle are both assets. They will be increasing because the partner is putting them into the business. And to record an increase in an asset, they have to debit the asset account. And we only have one option here, that's debiting cash and motor vehicle. And of course, we'll credit capital, and the total value of Rose, of the capital contribution by Rose is 10,000, 7 plus the 3. Sorry, I blanked on it. Right, that's 32. Okay. In preparing its final accounts of business, it omitted to include returns in what? Which of the following items was affected by the omission? What? Sorry. Oh, okay. Alright. Sorry, let me just respond to my wife real quickly. Right, so if you omit returns inwards, okay. Yeah. So if you omit returns inwards, it'll net sales and gross profit or loss will be affected. Net purchases will not. So any option with item 2 is out of the question, and that's all the options except B. Alright, right. Alright, okay, YouTube. The drawings of cash 620 was entered in the cash book but not in the drawings account. The journal entry, okay, so if you didn't enter it in drawings, you have to debit drawings and credit suspense. That's option E. Alright. 35, a businessman offers a reduction in price for prompt payment for inventory purchased, under which column in this 3-column cash book would this reduction be entered? Discount allowed. Alright, cool. Sorry, okay. Okay. Wayne, yeah, this is today's paper. I got it and I just thought I'd do it one time because I had a momentum going. Right, when comparing the books of a limited company with the books of a sole trader, which of the following items on a statement of financial position would differ most in presentation as capital? Alright. 37. An article is subject to 20% trade discount. Its list price is $600. What is the sale price? So 600 minus the 20%. 20% of 600 is 120, so you're going to get 480. Right, 38. Refers to the following account balances taken from the ledger of a sole trader. Yeah, check YouTube for a couple of days after. The total on the credit side of the trial balance will be, okay, so the credit side will have revenues and liabilities and capital. Equipment is an asset. Rent prepaid is an asset. Discount allowed is an expense. So 30 and 9 would give us 39,000. Okay. I'm just watching the reps. Okay. Everybody asking for 2022 to 2024 boy. Right, guys, if anybody on the lives know anybody with the Cape Accounting Unit 1 multiple choice question papers from like 2022 to 2023 and 2024, and they're willing to share, it'd be most helpful because we haven't gotten those papers and the kids are asking for them. So if either you or somebody you know have them, that would be helpful. Right, Mrs. Green is a dry goods merchant. Which of the following transactions would result in a debit to her cash account? Sold inventory for cash, yes. Any payment you made is a credit. That's because the asset of cash will be decreasing. Alright. Item 40 refers to the following table. Alright. What value should be recorded for closing inventory? Wow, okay, so you have some multiplication and some addition to do here. So you multiply the number by the cost per unit. 100 by 60 is 6,000. This would be 8,000. This would be 4,200. And this would 75 by 8, 8,400. That's 6,300. There you go. Right, 614, 14 and 10 is 24, so 24.5. Alright. Guys, if anybody do any maths and I get it wrong, let me know, right? Sahid, your sister have them? Sahid, if that's true and you're willing, she is willing to share it, I'd be most grateful. I don't have any way to compensate except saying thanks. Hold on. Tuition. Right, dot. If you could email them to me, I'd be very grateful. Alright, 41. A vehicle costing 80,000 is expected to depreciate at a rate of 10% per year. Using the straight line method, what would be the total depreciation on a vehicle for 3 years? Right, so under the straight line method, the same amount is used for depreciation every year. So 10% of 80,000 and then by 3. 10% of 80,000 is 8,000. 8,000 by 3 is 24,000. Alright. Right. Yes, I am. Yeah, so if it's a keep accounting unit 1, we got the unit 2 2023 people, we still missing 2024 and 2025. Yeah, they're keeping them under wraps these past few years, boy. They're getting greedy. So right, anything above 50, anything above 50 is decent. 55 and above is like elite. Alright. Ishani's cafeteria does not keep a complete set of accounting records. The bookkeeper provides you with the following information. Okay. Oh, guys, we passed question 4. So in the last 1/3 of the paper. Alright. Hold on. I think I saw Makita. Did I see the name Makita somewhere? Is that Miss Makita? Hey, good afternoon, Miss. How you doing? Alright. I don't know. Maybe I saw incorrectly. I don't know. Anyhow, alright. Sorry. What is the balance on the sales ledger control account? Okay. The sales ledger control account is also called the debtors or the accounts receivable control account, right? So it's basically your interactions with your debtors or your accounts receivable. So sales ledger control, right? Control, right? So the opening receivables goes on the debit side because assets have debit balances. The credit sales is a major interaction. It's going to increase the amount. So we debit, and then cash received from accounts receivable is 1250. So the balance here will be literally the balance carried down, which it seems like it's 450. Sorry, ran out of water. That's alright. 42 repeated. Yeah, 42 repeated, that's correct. 43 refers to the following information. What is the correct closing total for the sales account? So the sales account will have cash and credit sales, yeah? 10 and 45 is 55. 55, okay, cool. 43, where was we? There was we. Car and gas, boy. I don't even to work it out. I know it's 24 and 12. So, can we? Okay, right, hold on. Just now. Right, left, up, down, EVA, select start. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the Karen and Garth are partners in a business, sharing profits and losses in the ratio 2 to 1. What would be their respective shares if they've just been a profit of 3,600? So with the numbers in the ratio, you add them together. So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. And then we put each of their numbers over that total and multiply it by the profit or loss to be shared. In this case, you're going to get 2,400 to Karen and 1,200 to Garth. So 44 is E. In the books of a partnership, the salaries of the partners should be credited to the partner's current account. That's correct. Debited to appropriation, right? But that's not there. Alright, guys, 3/4 of the way through. Amalgamated Components was a private company until it admitted additional shareholders by selling shares on the stock exchange. Amalgamated Components can now be described as a public limited company. Right, so I've never seen that one before. Maybe it's I just don't remember, but that's easy enough. Which of the following lists of activities shows the correct order of the stages in the accounting cycle before final account? So journals first, posting to ledger second, and preparing trial balance third. There we go. Alright guys. Under which of the following conditions of the trimester balance transaction completely left out? Yes. Both a debit and credit entry were overstated by the same amount. Yes. Both a debit and credit entry were understated by the same. Yes. So all three items here. Hey Paige, how you doing? The Lord was on my side. Anna May Guerrero. Alright, glad to hear that. Great is he. Alright. How would the purchase of equipment on credit affect the firm's financial statements? Well, you're buying equipment, so your assets increasing. You're buying it on credit, so you owe money for it. So therefore, your liabilities also increasing. Okay. So for 48, change up our question. For 48, they did? Nah, I don't think so. Maybe they did, but it seemed familiar to me. Right, so 49. There we go. Sorry. Right, so for this one, yeah, it is multiply going across. I think it's 340, right? Right, so this is called an aging table. So the period, it should actually say the age of the debt, not the period. Anyhow, but what do I know? Right, so 6,000 multiplied by 3 will give us 188, right? 4,000 by 2% is itself 80, and 8,000 by 1% is itself 80. And the sum of those three is 340. Alright guys, we're in the last 10. Alright, let's see if we can make it out quickly. Like I said, I had some things to do. Alright. IT. IT work. Okay. What we have here, we have a balance sheet. Okay, hold on. What is the total value for non-current assets? So that is this figure here. So 14.5. The closing capital is 20,000. Yeah, this is a horizontal balance sheet, guys. I don't know how many of you are still taught that. I don't even know if it's still on the syllabus per se. So I wouldn't blame you all if you like got a bit confused. But if you keep your head on, that's the important thing that this year has taught us, guys. Keep your head on. Read what's in front of you. Don't panic. If you do, learn to bring yourself back under control, right? Breathing exercises. Deep breathing is important. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Your total current assets are here. Your total current is there. So 8,800 minus 3,300 is 5,500. Right? Okay, cool. Okay, so that page went pretty quickly. An account receivable is unable to pay an outstanding debt of 450. However, what's that? Sorry, just checking a message from my wife. An agreement was made that he would pay 30 cents on every dollar owed. How will this payment be recorded? Okay, cool. So hold on. The first things first. 30 cents on every dollar owed, is basically 30% of the 450. Right, so that's 0.3, that's 45, right, that is 135. So if you're collecting money, you're going to debit your cash. Right, 135. So that's the only option that has debit cash for 135. And yes, you'll credit your account receivable. Right, so remember that's the hack, right? When we'll be back to do paper 3. That might not anytime soon, sorry. Yeah, so your double entry hack is credit where the money is coming from, debit where it's going. So it's coming from the account receivable and going to cash. So that's why we credit the account receivable and debit cash. Item 55 refers to the following info. A calculation to determine gross profit percentage is as follows. What is the 5298? They finally put net sales, thank God. The whole time it's total sales. Like, no, it's net sales. Net sales. Okay, good. They put it correct. Right. Item 56 refers to the following information about Jane and Max who are in partnership, sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. Blah, 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 blah. How much money should Max receive as his share of residual profits? Okay, hold on. So net profit is this, right? We have to add interest on drawings first. We had to add 290. This is not a question that should be given on a multiple choice. With the amount of working, remember, right? The interest on capital is 3,000. You're going to minus 3,000. That will give us 2,790. And you're going to also minus this. The drawings doesn't go here, so you're going to minus 2,500. Right, so that's 18,290. Right, and it's a 3-to-2 ratio, so we have to add the numbers together. That's going to give us 5. So it's a 3/5, 2/5 split. With Max, so Jane getting the 3/5, Max getting the 2/5. So Max getting 18,290 by 2/5, right? So again, you can pull up a calculator. What's that way? 1829 by 4, 7,200. What do it again? 7,200 plus 120 is 7,320, so 7,316. Right, that's option D. Okay, alright, we're done with this page. We're almost home free, ladies and gents. I was hoping for half an hour, but I'm going to get 35 minutes. That's fine as well. Even if it's 40 minutes, that's not a big deal. Okay, sorry, I want to get these slide. Right. Hands and Feet Company presented a summary of payroll records for an employee. Cuss in the laptop. 7,000. Yeah, so let's go, boy. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how they want you guys to do this stuff on the computer if you don't have any place to do any working. I find that's kind of weird. Alright, sorry. Gross wages, national insurance, income tax, salesman commission. Oh, this is the question I feel have an error in it. Okay, statutory deductions are deductions required by government or by law, by statute. Statute is law, right? So there's just these two items here, right? So that's 1750, right? 1750. What is the total value of the employee's net wages? Now, hear me think. Gross wages is the total wage of the employee before deduction, and it includes all earnings, which should include salesman's commission. Now, if we work it out under that assumption, and this 300 is already inside here, we don't get an answer. Or we didn't last time. So what we would do is you take your 10,000, you minus your 1750 for your statutory, that'll give us 8250, and then you minus your 2500, which will give us 5750. That's not an answer. If you add the 300 to it, you'll get 6050. Right? So yeah, like I said, I spoke to my teacher about it, and he was like, yes, salesman's commission is supposed to be included in gross wages. But now I feel, yeah, well, Wayne, you had to, right? Yeah, sorry, 59, that's pretty good. Yeah, Sahid, you'll actually have the paper ones for the Keep Accounting Unit 1. If so, let me know, and if you're sharing it, let me know. If not, that's cool too. Just let me know if the expect or not. Thanks. Yeah, so like I was saying, I don't agree with it, but I seem to remember something somewhere recently where you had gross wages, but that was like a basic wage, and the commission was on top of that. So if it was basic wages, I would understand. You could add commission to that. Anyhow. Alright, last two questions and we call it a night. Oh, good, look what they bring this one down to the end, boy. Right, okay, so again, they bring an appropriation account in a T account format, right? Debit and credit side. Right, so the balance brought down is the retained earnings at start, and you have the current year's net profit. Taxation reserve, preliminary expenses. I don't know why they took off the word expenses, but okay. Transfer to general reserve, preference share dividend, ordinary share dividend. Okay, cool. What conclusion could be drawn from the above appropriation account? The company is engaged in profitable enterprise. Well, they have a net profit of $26,000 plus, so yeah. Company is not doing too well. I'm not sure about that one, so I would not, I think 2 is out. So anything with 2 is out, so that's B and D. And then 3 more dividends can be given to ordinary share. So you have to do a calculation for this, right? But long story short, it could. If you add up this side, you get 27,000 as your total, alright? The next side, so you have 10 and 4 is 14, 14 and 1 is 15, and 6 is 21. So you have 21,450, right? And the difference there is 5,550. 5,550. So yeah, you had retained earnings, so you could have put, you could have given them more, right? Whether you should is a different story. So 1 and 3. And the last question, the current allowance for doubtful debts is 500. A business's account receivable at the end of the financial year is 10,000, and the allowance for doubtful debts is now 4%. Which entry below will reflect the change? Will reflect the change. So the provision at year end is 4% of 10,000, right? That is equal to 400, and the current provision is 500, which means you have to have a decrease of $100. There's only one option here with $100, which is option D. And that is correct. You have to debit the allowance and credit the income statement. Boom. Alright guys, yeah, so that's about it, right? So the paper was a nice paper if you practice at least 5 or 6 papers, especially the more recent ones. There was some here that were not on the more recent ones, right? So it wasn't a perfect strategy, right? But again, studying the notes, provided you have good notes, and practicing as many papers as possible, which of course for some people is not a realistic thing. They just get 1 or 2. But again, studying the notes as best you can, learning off your stuff, you know. Alright, okay. Yeah folks, that's about all I have time for tonight. I'm sorry to cut and run. I have some stuff to do, right? So guys, for the rest of your exam period, I wish you all good luck. People have been asking about like the ad maths and the maths and stuff, guys. Where we at? We are across here. It's Wednesday, no, it's Tuesday. Yeah. Alright, so we are Tuesday 20th, right? So the ad math I have starting next weekend, right? And the math I have starting from Monday. But I'm gonna try to put some. I'm gonna try to get my assistant to handle the ad math stuff on the weekend, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll see if she could do 2 sessions a day, because that's only Tuesday, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 2 sessions. That's 8 papers. That should be enough, to be honest. 8 papers should be more than enough, right? And the maths, I'll try to start that math from the Saturday, to be honest, eh? And I'll try to do 2 a day. I'll try. All right. Yeah. So you can look out for those lives as well during then. Okay. Anyhow, guys, that's about it. Yeah, it's already on YouTube. From the time we exit here, it'll be there, so you can go back and watch it, right? That's N and Rishi and whoever else. I need that someone, please. What is that, Nixie? What is number 56? 56. D. Right. YouTube. Ibadan Lilini. The duty level. I do not know. They said they don't. They said that they don't. But my colleagues who have marked and who have been in the game longer than I have said, well, how else can they do it if it's not approved? And that would be a good question to ask them and have answered. I feel like they should be more transparent. They've never released the grade bands. They've never said what percentages are 1 or a 2 or whatever the case is. Yeah. Anyhow, folks, I'd love to stay and chat online with all of you, but I'm sure you all have other things to do. What exam we have tomorrow, boy? Today is the 20th, right? Tomorrow, physics and PE. So good luck to all physics people. Hey, and we have econ paper 1, IT paper 1. Paper 1's down the line, boy. So after tomorrow, physics is just paper 1's. What? All they're kind of home free. It's just paper 1's. Yeah, boy. Look at that. What? Well, they get through. Alright, add maths paper 1. Yeah, I would love to. I just have to see how I could fit it in. Alright. There's a little bit of a challenge scheduling this time of year when I have new Form 4s coming in and Form 3s coming in and Form 5s going out, you know. But anyhow, yeah guys, I had a run. Thanks for joining. You all could always hit my email, hit my DM if you all have any questions or just want to say hi, you know. Alright, anyhow guys, I appreciate you all. Have a good evening. Good luck in the rest. I'll see you all on a live. I won't do a live again, so I'll see you all later. Sorry, hold on. I press it wrong.